All right, so Last2First family, CLDA, welcome back to our next mini episode. We're here in Austin, Texas, the Find 'em Out Forum. I'm Jason, he's Jason. I'm Burns, he's Harmon. But here we are talking shop, last mile logistics. So, man, pleasure to meet you. First of all, thank you for being on.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
So you were saying you heard about the conference through the podcast. So I want to ask you, how did you hear about the podcast first? How did you come across Last2First?
Well, I've been in the industry for about 3 years, maybe a year full time, and all things career related, I've just been gravitating to, and that's how I came across your podcast right around the time where I was thinking about going full time in the business.
Yeah.
And that's how I found you online. I've been watching you, and that's how I learned about the CLDA, which I've never even thought about an association to join. And just from listening to you and getting connected, I mean, I was able to scale up and leave a career for 14 years and go full time in it. And I'm telling you, the growth is, I can feel it. The increase is happening. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm getting a little teary-eyed. I zoom in and see, because this is when we first started the podcast. It was for people like you. I was fortunate to come into an existing business. You probably saw my dad a little earlier. So I walked into a business that was been around for 20-some years. And although I had to learn a lot still from there was a foundation already laid out. But as I got into my career and then once we sold our business, you want to give back, right? And so podcasting is something that, I consume a lot of information that way. And a lot of times, the information that's out there right now is not coming, directly from the horse's mouth. And I knew there were people out there that want to get into this industry and want to do it the right way. And so what better way than to help, offer up information, not just from me. I mean, I'm one person, but you get to hear stories from some of the best people that have done this thing. And I'm sitting there interviewing people sometimes, but I'm just as amazed as I hope people in the audience are, because some things that they've accomplished are phenomenal. So the fact that you're here, that it's a full circle moment for me too to have you here, man. So I appreciate that.
Well, and that was one of the things that really gravitated me towards you and your podcast, because there's a lot of information on the internet, but because you kind of came into the business, you had a foundation of history in the business. Like, you weren't a fly-by-night kind of guy. And I learned that, and I saw that, and then you inherit this from your father. I'm doing this for my sons, so it was like, he's spot on. He's not someone who just learned this yesterday, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So because you had that history, that track record, it immediately caught my attention, and I've learned so much, and I was able to do certain creative things in my business to help it grow. And I feel like it was a cheat code, like you gave me a shortcut, and just by watching you and the people you interviewed, so many great stories, and everyone you interviewed gave me a different way of doing the business.
Yeah. That's Last2First, baby. That's what we here. So tell me about your business. So is it DAS or DAS? How you pronounce it?
DAS Delivery.
So DAS Delivery.
Yep.
Where you're located? Kind of what do you do? You said you've been in the business for a few years now?
Yeah, 3 years.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So tell me about the business.
Well, we're Final Mile on demand. We're in Maryland, and we take care of DC and Virginia, Northern Virginia. But we're pretty much we've done it all. From when you're starting a company and you get in a business, you want to do a little bit of everything. But right now, we're mostly focusing on doing medical implants and delivering things to the hospitals, really high priority packages or implants or medical things like that. So that's what we're doing, and we're staying in the health medical field right now. And it's going pretty good.
Look, that's super smart, man, because time sensitive, anything that you can do that's harder, faster, or more custom than some of the competitors out there is where you can, riches and niches, right? So healthcare, it probably took me 5 years to figure out that's a market and vertical we should focus in. So the fact that you're already kind of fast tracking ahead on that space is phenomenal. What's the biggest challenge you're facing in the business today?
The biggest challenge right now that we are facing is to kind of get a little bit more in contact with the decision makers. The people who make the decisions to bring on courier companies such as myself.
Yeah.
So those are the kind of the challenges that we're having. That's part of the reason why I joined the CLDA, because it actually coming to some of the conferences put me in front of the people that make the decisions.
Yeah.
And so that's also another shortcut, because I didn't come into this space in the courier space to have a job. I came into it and I came in as a business.
Yeah.
And I focused as a business, and that's why I'm growing as a business.
Yeah. Well, you're here, and I say this on the podcast a lot, if you're not at the table, you're probably gonna be on the menu. So the fact that you're in the room, in the building, there's decision makers here all the time. I'm a person connected to some people in your market because I think there's some opportunities there. I know they're looking for people like you. And then also we're going to be in DC, the CLDA fly-in. So from an advocacy perspective, there'll be another CLDA Connect event where probably 50, 60 people will be in that market, and you'll be able to meet, movers and shakers there as well. First time in CLDA, right?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you think so far?
It's great. It's great. I mean, it's one of those things that you never know how true it is when they say it's not what you know, but who you know. Mm-hmm. And you have to be in the room. And you have to know people, and I'm living it. I'm seeing it right now, and I'm maximizing it, taking advantage of it. And
you mentioned you have two boys, your sons?
Yes.
Sons, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned you want to build a legacy. So you talk about my dad. There's several family businesses here that are second, third, some fourth generation legacy. So you're paying it forward. You're building something that your kids will one day inherit. And honestly, one of the fastest growing industries, out there, right? So you're not just taking a bet on something that's not proven me,
right,
unless they figure out a way to email packages, right? Where we're gonna be here, right? Maybe some robots will be involved at some point. But I love the fact that you are building something that ultimately one day they can inherit. Yes. I met your wife downstairs in the lobby.
Yes.
Yeah. What does it mean to you as a business owner that you're now growing something that ultimately can impact your legacy for years to come?
It's very rewarding. It's very motivating, because when you talk about legacy, there's a lot of different things you can leave to kids, to your family. But when you're doing something and your kid is saying, your son or your daughter, I want to do that, I'm going to follow that. I want to show them what you can do.
Yeah. Well, man, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you came on the podcast.
Man, thanks. It's an honor. I can't believe I'm here. I can't believe I'm shaking your hand. I have to see you online, but I mean, thank you.
Yeah. Well, that's what we do, man. It's one thing to talk about it, nothing to be about it. And the fact you're here, man, I'm glad you took some of the nuggets that we shared on the podcast and you took action on it, because at the end of the day, you got to take action, right? I can give you all the game I want, but unless you're actually going to put it into play, you'll be sitting on the sidelines. So.
Yeah, I almost had a problem because my wife met you before I did. So she met you in the hotel lobby.
She kept me walking in.
Yeah, I said, what's going on?
I was standing in line checking in.
She sent me the picture, and I said, oh my God, I should have left you home. But I'm glad she met you first. Because, when you have a wife, you find a good thing, and she helped me, and
absolutely,
she promoted and supported me. So, thanks.
It takes a family, man. It takes a village.
Yes,
all right, brother. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
All right, Last2First family. Jason Burns.
Jason Harmon, Dash Delivery.
All right, if you're in the Maryland, Baltimore area, need delivery solution, look them up. What's your website? You got a website?
Yes, it's
plug it up.
DASDeliveryLLC.com, and his email is jason@dashdeliveryllc.com.
All right, there it is. We're out.
All right.
Peace. Check this out, L2F fam. I want to give you some stats from our last season. 78% increase in views, 35% increase in impressions, 30% increase in followers. Now those are some impressive numbers, and I want to thank you for your support. But there's one last stat that has my attention the most. Only 15% of our listeners are actually subscribed, and I'm on a mission to change that. Our goal is to double that number this season. So if you're one of the ones and it's 85%, please stop being last. Take 2 seconds, hit that subscribe button, and help us move this industry from last to first. Thank you.